Welcome back to the Triple SC, everybody. Chris, Gronk. It's a nice shirt you got on there. I like that.
Oh yeah, I got it for Christmas yesterday. It was the S won the day. I got so much Superman crap yesterday. It was like being a kid again. Daddy even made the joke that I was the only one that actually got any toys.
I'm not surprised at all.
That
I love it though.
Funko Pop right up there at the top was another thing that
I like that.
Mason and Tiffany got me.
Black and white. That's cool.
Adventures of Superman with George Reeves.
Heck yeah. Well, we hope you all had a good Merry Christmas. Spent some well-earned time with family and opened some gifts and, well, just enjoyed the time with one another and had safe travels. We come back today to continue our series of console wars. And how they've progressed through the years. I think we left off. We was discussing a little bit about whether Nintendo was your thing, and then hard drive storage space and stuff like that. So
yeah,
Switch 2.
Yeah,
Is that something you're, maybe not right now, but do you think in the future you could see you having that here?
I would want two things before I'd even consider getting a Switch. And the only reason that I would go back, because my boycott in Nintendo is it's not perfect. I wish it was, but it's not, because my N64 is a hunk of crap, I'm gonna have to get an analog or an M64 so that I can play this little monster right here, Donkey Kong 64.
Clutch.
It's basically and I never got to beat it because I wasn't good at original Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
And you have to beat, there's a level where
There's skill level.
there is a level in the game where in order to progress to the final boss, there is like an arcade machine in a treehouse that you have to play, and that is original Donkey Kong, and if you don't beat that arcade game, you can't get the token to open the door that takes you to the final boss.
Okay. I've never played that one.
And that's one of my die-hard 64 games, so I want to be able to play it, and I want to be able to beat it, because it's 20 odd years after the fact, and it's like that struggle bus trying to get.
We're almost 30 years.
Yeah. 64 came out a long time ago.
It's a classic console nowadays.
And so I need to get an analog or an M64 so that I can actually play it.
Yeah.
And what I would really love to see more than anything is for them to just remaster or port Donkey Kong 64 to the current gen of consoles. But Skylar made a point that there's simply too many. There's apparently so much in doing that. I don't understand. He tried to explain it to me. I still don't understand how it can be that complicated.
Yeah.
It's beyond me that it can be. All right, let's just imagine that it is not that complicated to do, but it is not cost effective to do it. They would have to invest too much money in making it happen, and there's
for
maybe
how much in sales they'd get.
For how much a demand there probably is. There's probably just too much money in trying to do something like that, and it's not worth it to them.
That makes sense.
And Nintendo is notoriously tight-fisted, at least to my way of thinking. They are they are the video game monster. They are the giant that is like, we make the rules, we decide the market, we are Nintendo, we were here first, scooch on.
I mean, they've always kind of stood on their own, in their own section, if you will, ever since the Wii.
I don't like that. I don't like that they think they can make the rules.
Of course, they were here before Sony and Microsoft was in the game.
I know, and that's why they were here. Like I said, they were here first, so they think they get to decide
how it goes.
And I don't like that. So as far as the Switch 2 goes, I would they gotta bring the prices down on their games.
Yeah.
Pre-owned games have been out for 7+ years, and they are still almost $50 a pop.
Yeah.
I can't put my hands across the other Bayonetta games in the franchise. That I mean, I want to play them, but they're only available on the Switch because Nintendo has the rights to Bayonetta right now. Sega gave it up after the first game, and they just weren't interested in continuing the series. So then Nintendo picked it up, and they've had it since. And it's one of their console exclusives, and the price of the game is 7-8 years later. They're still almost $50.
I wonder why that is. It can't just be because it's Nintendo, right?
The chick at GameStop said it's because like Nintendo has basically been operating at a loss for a while, and that's why they jacked the price up on the Switch, because it's like, okay, well, for only $100 more, I can just get a Switch too.
Yeah.
So they're trying to recover their expenses.
You can get the OLEDs.
Even pre-owned games, are almost $50 a piece.
It's just insane.
And they've been out forever. I've not done the appropriate research, and I need to make this correction before I forget about it. There actually is an achievement in AWE in Control for destroying the vending machines. I was actually wrong about that.
Oh, okay.
But it's not for destroying. It's like destroying 80% of instances of corrupted vending machines. It's not even for destroying them all. And finally,
because they know 80% is going to take you long enough, apparently.
Finding them all is a task. Like that is not a big map in the Control expansion, but finding every instance of a vending machine
a little
is
more
a
challenging than
task.
you expected. Yeah, you're thinking they're going to stand out, and they don't.
It's very easy to miss them because you can get turned around, you can forget a room, let's say you don't know where all the secret passages and stuff are. It's easy to walk right past them and not think anything of it.
For sure.
But segue aside, just because I needed to get that correction out there, I think it's a crock that Nintendo thinks of themselves as a business. And I mean, all businesses are businesses, but they it's like they don't care about the fans.
Right.
Like they know they are the giant in the forest, and they know that they have basically the running standard on console success. Like I think the Switch is just recently hit the high number for the most successful console of all time.
Oh yeah, it was right under PS2 there. Well, PS2 was number one forever.
Yeah, I think the Switch finally capped it. You might do that research so that I don't have to sound like a incompetent moron again. Hasn't quite surpassed in total sales, but it's extremely close, hovering around 154 million units compared to PS2's 160.
Well, so I mean, this depends. Are they going to say it has to be the Switch 1 then, I'm assuming? Because the Switch 2 is its own console now,
It
right?
says Switch Original.
Yeah. I wonder if that counts lights. It probably has to.
I would.
Of course, I don't know. It says original.
It does say original. But then again, that's an AI generated.
Yeah. What page did it get the information from?
Yeah. So it's extremely close. That is.
Yeah.
If it's not beat it yet, it's close. It's close by like 10 million.
Right.
Which is
an insane number to say.
It's chump change, and yet it's wide, and yet it's a big number. Like 10 million probably means nothing to them. It's like, okay, well, give us another 6 months and we'll be out in front.
Right.
But they they don't care about us. They've been in this business forever. They've made their name. They've made their industry. They are the giant in the forest in the industry.
Did you have a GameCube or a Wii?
My mother had a Wii, and a couple of the buddies that I went to high school with had GameCube for Metal Gear Solid, the Twin Snakes, actually. Like, I would have gone to the GameCube just for that game because it was a remaster of Metal Gear Solid
Okay.
for the PlayStation.
Yeah.
And, and I loved it. But it's all tied into licensing issues. Like, I'd have liked to have seen them move that over at some point, like they did with Resident Evil 4, because that was a GameCube exclusive for a while.
I played that on the Wii.
And then eventually they were like, all right, well, we're gonna
We'll expand.
yeah,
If you will.
they'll expand. We'll kick it over to other consoles and let everybody else get on this Resident Evil bandwagon if you're not here yet.
Right.
And it took off everywhere else. And it's like, well, hell, I'd love to see them port over the Twin Snakes just so I wouldn't have to go hunt down a GameCube to play it. But there's something about the licensing and the rights that, like, songs in the game, or the rights to those songs are still licensed to whoever, and
Right.
people are stingy when they have the license to something. It's like, I can just hold on to this and torture all of you ad infinitum,
It's
and
mine.
just keep watching that market raise the price until it's like, if you want it, you got to pay me $1 billion.
Right.
And most people are not going to spend $1 billion just for
A name.
a name.
That's, I've come to understand that's a lot of the big problems with remasters and why you won't see them on games that you think are, the golden of the era or whatever, the best of the series. They're not remastering because it's a pain in the butt to go through and get all the copyrights redone and stuff like that. And well, that's just a headache to think about, I'm sure, but doesn't mean we don't want the games.
I know that because I don't think I fully answered your question. I didn't have it. My mother had a Wii. My buddies in high school had GameCubes, and what they did was that it, like, you could play your GameCube games from your Wii.
Yeah.
So that was a thing.
Only if you had certain ones. Some
Yeah.
ones came special and they didn't have the spots for them.
Well, I think I eventually took that route to try to play Twin Snakes. I think I put my hands across a copy of it at one point, and I started because my mother had a Wii. I was like, well, I can manage this.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, life happened, and it's just like, I'm not devoting the time to this that I thought I was going to, and
Yeah.
I need whatever it's gonna get. I'm gonna get out of it and store credit for the thing that sounds more important. So, and now, like, trying to find the game and a GameCube and everything else you would need to play it is like another small fortune.
Yeah.
Just to put your hands across a copy of the Twin Snakes, and I'm sitting here saying I'd love to see them just remaster Metal Gear Solid again, like just do a scratch remake. And there was a few years ago, that was what the talk was, that we were like before 3 was remastered again, they were talking about 1, and like Bluebell or Blue Point or whatever it is, they did the remake of Demon's Souls that came out for the PS5. Like, they were talking about how one of the things on their agenda was to remake Metal Gear Solid, like just do a scratch rebuild on the game. And it's like, that would be sick.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that.
100%.
But I don't know, life happened, and
Here we are.
And, now the industry talk is that it would just like with Donkey Kong, Donkey Kong 64, it's like to just rebuild Metal Gear Solid or Metal Gear Solid 2 or Metal Gear Solid 4. It's just, it wouldn't be cost effective or whatever they're pissing at reason for not doing it is.
Right.
It's like, dude, it's the Field of Dreams, okay? If you build it, they will buy it. The Metal Gear Solid fan community will come get it. All you have to do is trust us. We will spend the money on it.
That's the oldest one.
But like I said, these the corporations don't care about us, and Nintendo cares about us even less than everybody else does. So they are getting the brunt of my protest right now until they bring down the price. Their pre-owned games are still $50 plus.
That's insane.
And they've been out forever. I would be curious to go to GameStop, and I know you never know what the sales are going to look like because they had copies of Black Ops 6 for like $20.
Yeah.
And they were brand new. And it's like just every once in a while you'll get a wild sale.
Yeah.
But I wonder, like, regular how much a copy of Hogwarts Legacy for PlayStation costs these days.
Yeah.
Whether they're still running that at, I don't know, 45.
40. Yeah.
40 to 50. But that game is...
It's a good game.
It's a great game, and it hasn't been out quite that long. It came out in
Just short of 2 years.
2022, 2023.
Really?
Somewhere in that pocket. I don't remember exactly when it was. I don't think I was with my fiance by the time it came out. And I would be curious because there's games where it's like I can understand
2023 February. It's coming up on 3 years.
right before. Shortly before I got together with my fiance, then like a month before. That's wild.
That is.
But with some games, I can see why they are still $40 plus, even a couple of years later, because people are still going out for like it was actually free on one of the PC platforms. Epic.
I think Epic. They're always giving out games.
Like Hogwarts Legacy was free on one of them. I think it was Epic, and shit. But so Nintendo's taking the heat on my protest because they're being the most ridiculous. Like there is some gouging, there is some, let's call it corporate malfeasance that I'm prepared to swallow, but not that.
It's just not your console.
That's not going to be my console when they keep playing like that.
Not a fan of Mario.
I don't care about Mario like that.
Yeah.
I have unless it was Mario Kart, I have never went for a Mario game.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like, Mario is not my thing.
That's fair.
Now, having said that, did I play Super Smash Brothers for every incarnation of the series, whatever release it was on whatever? Yeah. Because it wasn't just Mario, like Solid Snake was a character in one of the Smash Brothers games.
Right.
And you can like call on the codec frequency and like you can get information about like Kirby and the other characters that were, because like David Hayter and like Christopher Randolph or whatever the guy's name is that voices Otacon, like they recorded lines for Super Smash Brothers as Solid Snake and Otacon. It's like, this is off the hook.
Yeah. I feel like that had to be the one for the 64.
Yeah.
Smash Bros. I think it was just Smash Bros.
It might have been GameCube. I've slept since then, so let us know where we
Played a lot of Melee. I don't remember that one on there.
I remember hitting people with, I played as Captain Falcon a lot,
Me
so
too.
getting people with that Falcon punch and just knocking them clean out of the...
That's awesome.
That was my favorite thing.
Me too.
Oh, man. And just watch them, like, go off the map and then come back around, like, way off in the distance and hit the sun in the background.
Have you seen people do videos of that, of, like, how fast they can get people to, like, 1,000% damage? Oh, it's insane.
Yeah.
Insane. It's almost like a speedrun video where you're like, how do you even pull that off? Good lord.
You'd have to tell me. Nintendo was never my... I got into Nintendo on the 64.
Yeah.
And I got there largely because of GoldenEye.
Right.
Because one of the guys that I knew that I used to bowl with on Saturday mornings, we struck a friendship up just of all things, and he's like, "You want to come over and play GoldenEye?" And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, yeah, GoldenEye, James Bond. They put it out on 64. It's a shooter, man. You love it. You got to come over. I'll show it to you. I'm like, okay. But, I'm trusting your judgment here because, we're having fun this morning and it seems like you know what you're doing. So, now that did we just become best friends?
Yeah.
So I go over there and we play GoldenEye for like the whole afternoon, and then suddenly everybody I knew had a 64 and everybody had GoldenEye. It's like we got to do split screen, 4 people playing GoldenEye, and I got hooked like anybody else did.
Yeah.
And that was life for a long time. And shortly after that, it's like, hey, how about a 64? Can I get a 64? What's happening with the 64? 64?
That's not the same one you still have, is it?
No.
Yeah.
No, I got rid of all that stuff a long time ago, and then about the time I got a wild hair to try to play Donkey Kong again a few years ago, Skylar was good enough to get me the game and a 64 for Christmas.
Yeah.
But shortly after I got it home, like, I plugged it in and started playing it one time, and then a few days later it'd be real funky, like it wouldn't want to start up, the controller wouldn't want to sync, the AV cables didn't want to send signal through. It was just always something every time, and I got real discouraged real fast about trying to play it.
Mine keeps getting to the point where it depends on how long you play it, but it'll just randomly restart. Like it'll just reset the console.
I would love to see them move things to current consoles so that I could get rid of old ones.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to have 7 consoles just loitering around that I have to constantly,
Loitering? How dare you talk about those classics like that?
Loitering?
You're loitering.
They're like Jay and Silent Bob outside of the Quick Stop, alright? They are loitering.
$15, little man.
Put that in my hand. Nah, knock it on, nah. Yeah.
Classic.
The View Askew verse by Kevin Smith. Clerks 2 is probably my favorite, and I'm super stoked that they finally put Dogma out again, because I thought that movie would just never see the light of day, but
they made it.
Finally, they made it. It came out on Blu-ray eventually, but there for a while it was just dead in the water because it was such a controversial movie that, like, people were afraid to even look at it.
Yeah.
It's kind of one of those underground underdog cult classics, and so they just kind of we all collectively just did one of these for years, and I guess everybody's in a world of being so butthurt you can't do anything. People were finally stopped being butthurt enough that they decided to do the 4K remaster and put it out on video again and put it on digital.
Right.
digital platforms. So, I mean, I'm sick about that one. That one's pretty cool.
Yeah, 100%.
So we hear my opinion on a lot of things. Why anybody wants to listen to me is other than my ability to lull people to sleep. I don't know why anybody cares about what I have to say, but we don't really hear too much about the things that Chris goes for, that Chris likes, that makes you feel a little frisky
That's fair.
in the video game store.
Yeah. Well,
If you and mine is Control. If you had to pick Die Hard, no questions asked, fall down favorite.
I always get torn when I'm asked this question, but I usually end up saying Fallout 3.
Yeah.
Hate me if you want.
Do you feel that it holds up today?
Yeah. They just talked about doing... I think this was rumored still. I'm not too sure if it's confirmed, but possible remaster for that in New Vegas. And that'll be the first game I buy brand new since one of the Call of Duties 4 years ago. So... well, that's the only game I bought brand new since Black Ops 1 back in the day. Otherwise, I'm not usually a launch day person.
It depends on the game.
Yeah.
Some games I have been a launch day release, and
Yeah. Fallout 3 just had, to me, it had a great story. I loved the whole chase of finding your father and, you know, having to go through all these boundaries to see how he's trying to help the wasteland and how you can, you know, at the end you're left with that choice of do it yourself or, you know, help the enemy and all this stuff. And there's a lot of lore that goes into Fallout that I don't know. I haven't played the first 2 games. I tried to download them on the computer, and they're like you're looking at an angle at things, and I just couldn't figure it out. Couldn't figure out the mechanics and stuff like that, so I just gave up on that. But New Vegas's mechanics was probably my favorite over 3, so I wish there would have been a nice hybrid of 3 story mode or storyline and New Vegas's mechanics. New Vegas was cool because it at the end you could choose basically I think it was like 4 or 5 ways in the game. So I mean you had so many options, and they gave you a lot of different playthroughs depending on how you wanted to play your character, and you know I appreciated that. It's cool to have the freedom to change the game a lot. Like so I had 3. It sat on the shelf for like 6 months, maybe 8 months before I finally played it. And I had a buddy, his name's Tristan, little big dog. He suggested it to me, and so I was sitting at his house, or he was sitting behind me, and I put it in and played it, and I was like, what do I do? Because, you know, he's the guy to look to for facts, and he was like, whatever you want. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm not an open world person. What do you mean whatever I want? But after exploring and exploring and exploring and exploring, I fell in love with the game for what it is, and I'm super excited for the remaster, so I'm hoping
that's a real thing.
Yeah, I mean, I've got my fingers crossed that you're constantly reading posts and seeing clickbait titles that, you know, want to convince you that's what's going on, just to find out it's a fan-made video, because they do a lot of that. There's a lot of people that's remade the intro of that game in Unreal
just
Engine.
proof of concept stuff.
Yeah.
Look what I did with...
And, it'd be amazing.
It just breaks your heart that it's not even a real licensed you know.
Yes.
Let me ask you something. I know I've been spoiled.
Oh, I have to.
Going backwards can be quite difficult, especially with the graphics and the performance. The performance fidelity and stuff, and X-Men Origins Wolverine was a great example of that.
Sure.
Is it I mean, Fallout 3 was bare minimum to my understanding that was at least at least new on PlayStation 3 and the 360. Now I don't know if they did a port to the PS3 and 360. Like if it was on something earlier than that and they moved it to the.
I think it came out in the PS3, Xbox 360 era, but it was like the very beginning.
Yeah.
Like I mean, I want to say that was early.
I know. We sat down and you played that while I watched. Where most of the time, I'm playing something while you're watching. We don't too often swap back and forth on things unless it's like Titanfall or Call of Duty.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like, is it hard for you to go back? Like, and this is just me, but I did not think that the graphics on Fallout 3 were
outstanding by any means.
Were outstanding by any means. Like everything has real hard edges and everything looks clunky and like it's just a bunch of polygonal shapes held together by tape and in some spots and I've been spoiled by the current generation for at least since the PS4 to now.
Yeah.
But early PS3, early Xbox 360, like I mean, I know we were on new hardware, and everybody thought, "Look what we can do."
Yeah.
And some games, it is hard for me to go back because like
it's hard to look at.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm not gonna say that that's a finely polished game by no means. I don't know how long Bethesda spent on Fallout 3. I know. They only gave Obsidian like 18 months to work on New Vegas, which is astounding for what the game became. I mean, it's full of glitches, but the view is just atrocious on the eyes. It's just brown everywhere because they didn't have time to code a whole lot of stuff in other than landmarks and things like that.
Yeah.
But or at least the important ones. Nonetheless, I'm not gonna say that it's hard by no means. I think it's because I love the game so much, or that I admire the game so much, I guess, to say that I can look past the graphic incapabilities and just enjoy it for what it is. I don't care for some of the combat system, but I mean, I think what the game has to offer makes up for it to me.
Well, if you enjoy it, you enjoy it.
All right.
You don't have to answer to anyone for that.
Right.
Like if somebody told me, you can't like Control.
You're gonna.
This is the land of the free, okay? I can do what I want.
Yeah.
And within reason.
Yeah.
And
within the laws.
Within... Let's just stay on consoles and video games.
Fair enough.
But there's no shame in that. There's great game. There's a lot of games came out in that pocket, in that PS3, Xbox 360 pocket that I very firmly believe hold up.
Yeah.
And Army of Two is one of them. Now
such a great game.
The graphics in that game also don't have a whole lot of polish today. Like everything's got hard edges and everything looks like, they just basically put a coat of paint on everything, in the vid. Like it's like there's not grass, there's not blades of grass, there's not crawling around in the mud and seeing the leaves on the tree, just feeling like you're in a real environment. Like everything's just been hard edges have been painted to look like trees and grass and logs and rocks and stuff. I mean, but the gameplay for me holds.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
The story, it's spotty, but for me, it's at least entertaining, and that is a game I can go back for because what it loses visually, it makes up for being fun to play.
Yeah.
So if you find that in Fallout, I'm certainly not going to fault you for it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good game. Love the storyline.
Now, I love Max Payne games,
Right.
but like trying to go back to the first two, like when they were on the PS2 and the Xbox, even though they've done everything they can to port them to modern consoles, like it just the graphics, like it is a block, a block, like he doesn't have a hand, he has a block.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have a head, he has a square.
Yeah.
And so the back then it looked great.
Gold. Yeah.
Back then it was gold standard. Today it's like we can do better than this now, which is why all these games are getting scratch remasters or scratch remakes and remastering as best they can.
Yeah.
But there's only so much that a new coat of paint can do, and Alan Wake was a great example of that.
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying that. Again, I will not say that Alan Wake is a bad game. I was at least entertained to run through it, but that is a game I can set down and be like, all right, I played it.
Yeah.
But there's like, even with the remaster of Alan Wake, like there's parts where it's like, okay, this is a like we'd have to put the video, like he's looking at somebody he's standing in front of, and his eyes aren't even focused on the person he's talking to. Like they are, if you and I are looking at each other like this, he's not looking straight at you. He's like looking to the left or to the right.
Yeah.
Because his eyes are not focused, and there's like a lot of things like that where it's like,
There was some in one of the first scenes I remember being like that. I can't remember what it was now, but
who was asleep when they were trying to.
they did the best they could in that moment.
They
They had to have.
people do their best, but there's only so much you can do without
Completely redoing the coding. And
without redoing the coding and spending more money than you mean to, and having to go to more trouble than what the investment of time and effort is probably worth.
stuff. Right. Yeah.
But I mean, for me it was cringe. For me it's like, ugh.
Yeah.
Sam, I was hoping for a little better here. Come on, bud. But then he gave us control, so all is forgiven.
All is forgiven. That's right.
All has been made right. So
The world continues to revolve correctly.
spinning the same amount of rotations it's supposed to. So I'd be hard pressed because I hate that PlayStation is doing it through the paywall of PlayStation Plus, letting you go back at least to PS3.
Yeah.
I thought they had PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 titles on there, but I went through their PlayStation Plus library, and it seems like most of that stuff is gone now.
Really?
Maybe I was looking in the wrong menu, but yes. I don't know where I might have screwed that up, so if I'm wrong, tell me. But I hate that they do it through a paywall. But one of the things that I've started to appreciate about Microsoft again is that like you can go back to most 360 games on the current generation.
Yeah.
You can go back to a few original Xbox titles on the current generation. As long as you've got the disc, I would suppose, most of the time, as long as you've got the disc, pop it in there, it'll load, it'll play. And now the file sizes, it's like pennies, man. You can load your Xbox up with 100,000 360 games, and you won't really make a dent.
Yeah, you're not joking.
In your space.
It's
Like
insane.
it does not take up a lot of real estate, and
Yeah.
I love that about Microsoft. So I'd go so far as to say that all is forgiven with Microsoft too, because that backwards compatibility is
Insane.
it's next level,
Yeah.
and that is one of the driving appreciations that brought me back to Xbox. Quite honestly,
Yeah. Same. Yeah, that was a big thing that brought me back to him because I went PlayStation. I mean, I had a PS1, so after the 64, I had a PS1,
yeah,
and then I had a PS2. But when the Xbox, OG Xbox came out, I got one of those. And then when the 360s came out, I can't remember if they released first or what the case was, but we ended up with a 360, and I got the Red Rings of Death, and
Yeah.
it was a downward spiral. I mean, I bought a bunch of them to try to fix them, and it was a mess. It was chaos with those things, and so I what really sent me back to PlayStation after that was not having to pay to be online. Where
Yeah.
Xbox was wanting you to pay for Xbox Live, PlayStation was like, have at it.
yeah,
Play for free as much as you want. So that took me back to the PS3 pretty quick, and then I stuck with PlayStation all the way up until I got the Xbox One. And well, I guess to be fair with everybody, I got to thinking the other day, in a moment, you brought this up in a couple episodes ago with Skylar about a moment where I felt like somebody was there for me, and well, I hadn't had the newest generation console in quite some time, and my good buddy here thought about me earlier in the year and most graciously gave me an upgrade. So I have a nice, pretty old Series X sitting at home that I get to look at most days and appreciate. So that would be the moment that stands out in my life where somebody was there for me when I didn't feel like I'd earned it. So, love you, buddy.
love you.
But thanks to this good man, I have a small collection of physical games myself where he's helping me chip away at it just as much as I'm helping myself chip away at it, seems like. So
I was hoping to be able to pull off a Christmas Miracle on 34th Street this year, but we're chipping away at all the things that I just don't ever see myself trying to play, and whether or not you might get more use out of them than me, that's kind of how we're making up for it right now. So
right, that's
the
fair.
the Dead Rising remaster was the first, and
Yeah, that's right.
we are running out of time,
Fair enough.
unfortunately.
See you guys on the
So
next
we
one.
will see you at part 4. Take care.
Until next time.